My wife's drunken confession shattered our marriage when she admitted she was never attracted to me. I disappeared without a trace and found myself again. I, 33 still remember that night with perfect clarity. The wine glasses on the coffee table, the soft music playing in the background, and the words that shattered our 8 years of marriage into irreparable pieces. It was our anniversary. I'd planned everything meticulously, her favorite restaurant, followed by drinks at home. The evening had been pleasant enough, though I noticed she seemed distant, checking her phone more than usual. I chalked it up to work stress. 3 glasses of wine later, her guard came down. We were talking about how we met in college when her expression suddenly changed. You know, she slurred slightly, leaning back on our couch. I wasn't even attracted to you back then. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. What? No, really. She took another sip. I thought you were sweet, dependable. My parents loved you. My friends said you'd make a great husband. She wasn't looking at me now. Just wasn't that physical spark, you know? But I figured that would come with time. The room felt suddenly cold. Are you saying you've never been attracted to me? In 8 years. She shrugged, a gesture so casual it burned. It's not that big a deal. There's more to marriage than physical attraction. We have a good life. Do we? The question came out before I could stop it. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she said, some people never find someone who treats them well. I got lucky. Lucky. Like I was a lottery ticket with mediocre winnings. Better than nothing. I went to bed alone that night, claiming a headache. She passed out on the couch. I lay awake until dawn, replaying every moment of our relationship, wondering how I'd missed the signs. Had I been so desperate for love that I'd ignored her lack of desire? Had she been pretending during our intimate moments? Every memory was now tainted with doubt. The next morning, she was hungover and remembered nothing of our conversation. When I carefully brought it up, she laughed it off. That's ridiculous. Of course I'm attracted to you. I was drunk, probably joking. But I'd seen the truth in her eyes. Some things can't be unsaid. I went to work as usual, but nothing felt normal anymore. Over the next week, I watched her closely, how she avoided my touch, how her kisses seemed perfunctory. The signs had always been there. I'd just been blind to them. Then I found the texts. Not explicitly romantic, but intimate in a way that made my stomach turn. Long conversations with a coworker about their day, inside jokes, plans to meet for lunch. Nothing I could confront her about without seeming paranoid, but enough to confirm my suspicions. 2 weeks after our anniversary, I made my decision. I waited until she left for a 3-day conference. Then I packed my essential belongings, withdrew half our savings, leaving her more than enough to cover expenses, and left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. No note. No explanation. Just gone. Hashtag update 1. 2 weeks after leaving. I'm writing this from a motel 3 states away. I've turned off my phone and created a new email address that I've shared only with my employer, who's been surprisingly understanding about letting me work remotely. The guilt comes in waves. Sometimes I think I should have confronted her, given her a chance to explain. But what explanation could possibly heal what's broken? I keep remembering her face when she made that confession, not malicious, just matter of fact. As if telling your spouse you've never desired them is a minor detail. My friends and family have probably been contacted by now. They're likely worried sick. But I can't face their questions yet. I can't bear to say aloud. My wife settled for me. I was convenient. I've spent countless hours wondering if I overreacted. Then I remember the text to her coworker. Lunch was the highlight of my day. When was the last time I was the highlight of anything for her? Hashtag update 2. 1 month after leaving. I've rented a small apartment and bought minimal furniture. Each day follows the same pattern. Work, gym, food, sleep. The simplicity is oddly comforting. Yesterday, I created a temporary email account and contacted my sister. She responded immediately, frantic with worry. According to her, my wife has been devastated, constantly calling everyone we know, even hiring a private investigator. My sister says she seems genuinely heartbroken and confused. I asked my sister one question. Did she ever mention not being attracted to me? The long pause before her response told me everything. Eventually, she admitted that yes, years ago, my wife had confided this to her after too many drinks at a bachelorette party. My sister hadn't told me because she thought it wasn't important. They were just girl talk confessions. Some betrayals run deeper than others. I've asked my sister to respect my privacy and not share my contact information. She reluctantly agreed, but begged me to at least let everyone know I'm safe. I promised to send periodic updates. Later that night, against my better judgment, I checked my wife's social media. Her profile picture is still us on our wedding day. Her most recent post. Missing you feels like missing a part of myself. Please come home. The comments section is filled with supportive messages, calling me everything from inconsiderate to mentally unstable. They don't know what I know. Hashtag update 3 months after leaving. I met someone at a local coffee shop. Nothing romantic, just a friendly conversation that somehow turned into 3 hours of talking. She's new to the area too, also starting over after leaving a long-term relationship. He cheated, she explained simply. Everyone told me to give him another chance. That men make mistakes. But some things you can't come back from, you know? I nodded. I knew exactly. For the first time in months, I felt understood. We exchanged numbers. Just friends. But it's nice to have someone to occasionally grab coffee with who doesn't know my past. Meanwhile, my wife's messages have become increasingly desperate. She somehow got my new email, probably through my work. Her emails swing between anger and pleading. How dare you just disappear? Whatever I did, we can work through it. Please just tell me you're alive. I love you. I've always loved you. That last one feels like the cruelest lie. I finally sent her a brief response. I'm safe. Please don't contact me again. When I'm ready to talk, I'll reach out. Her reply came minutes later. I don't understand what happened. Was it something I said that night? I was drunk. I don't even remember what we talked about. I didn't respond. Some truths are too painful to acknowledge. Hashtag update 6 months after leaving. I've started therapy. My therapist suggested that perhaps my wife's drunken confession triggered deeper insecurities that I've carried my whole life. She may be right. Growing up as the overlooked middle child, I've always feared being the second choice, the compromise option. But that doesn't change what my wife said or the truth behind her words. I've established a new routine, made a few friends, even went on a date last week. Nothing serious, but it felt good to be seen as desirable. My sister tells me my wife has stopped the frantic searching. She's in therapy too. Apparently, she's realized there were problems in our marriage that she'd been ignoring. Too little, too late. I've been thinking about closure. Do I owe her an explanation? Do I owe myself a final conversation? I'm not sure yet. Hashtag final update. 1 year later. Yesterday, I met my wife at a neutral location, a quiet cafe in a neighboring city. Seeing her walk through the door made my heart race in a way I hadn't expected. She looked different, thinner, with shorter hair, but her eyes were the same. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she whispered, "You look good." "So do you," I replied, because it was true. The conversation that followed was the most honest we'd ever had. She admitted remembering what she'd said that night, though she'd been too ashamed to acknowledge it. She explained that she'd confused comfort with lack of passion, that she'd grown up believing marriage was about stability, not desire. "I didn't realize what I had until you were gone," she said. "And I didn't understand that what I felt for you was deeper than some superficial attraction. It was comfort, yes, but also respect, admiration, love." I told her about my journey this past year. The pain, the healing, the slow rebuilding of my self-worth. How her words had shattered something fundamental between us that couldn't simply be glued back together. "Are you seeing someone?" she asked finally. Casually, I admitted. "Nothing serious yet." She nodded, eyes downcast. "I haven't. Couldn't. Not when I keep hoping." I reached across the table and took her hand. It felt both familiar and strange. "I didn't leave to punish you. I left to find myself." "And have you? Found yourself?" I considered the question carefully. "Getting there. I know now that I deserve someone who desires me completely, mind, heart, and body. Whether that's you, someone else, or no one at all for a while, I'm still figuring out." We talked for 3 hours. About the good memories, the missed signals, the paths not taken. By the end, we both knew that whatever happened next would be a choice made with open eyes. As we stood to leave, she asked, "Do you think we could try again? Not immediately, but someday? Start slow, date again, see if there's something worth rebuilding?" I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. Instead, I said, "I need more time. But I'll call you when I'm ready to talk about possibilities." For the first time in a year, those words felt honest. Not a dismissal, not false hope, just the truth. Walking away from that cafe, I felt lighter somehow. The weight of unanswered questions had been lifted. In its place was something unexpected, not certainty, but possibility. And for now, that's enough.